think this is good. Okay.
What's up, guys? It's me, the real T, back at it again with another video. I have been MIA again because I don't know, I want to vlog and then things like happen way too fast and I just can't get my life together. I need to do better at planning, but let's be real, I'm not a good planner. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I am gonna do a review on the Lovers and Friends Fest that happened in Las Vegas over this past weekend, May 14th, May 15th. I went May 15th, so I'm not sure what events took place, if any, on May 14th. But I will be discussing pros, cons, like mixed reviews. This is a totally honest review, not sponsored or anything like that. I'm gonna be totally honest. Everything that I feel like is appropriate to share. Sorry, let me put this phone down. I made a list basically, and I'm going to be touching on certain points that I feel like are important, that stood out to me the most. But yeah, I've seen a lot of backlash, and to be honest, I really don't feel like they deserve as much backlash as they're getting. But to be fair, I was not there on Saturday, so I'm not really sure, you know, it was like their first time, first event, whatever. So I'm not really sure what transpired. I can't really speak on Saturday, but I will be speaking on Sunday. I feel like they did their best to make appropriate changes for day 2. So if anything happened to you, this is not to bash you or to say that it didn't happen, but I'm going to be speaking from my perspective and my experience. So without further delay, let's get into the video. Okay, so I only felt it was appropriate to put back on my airbrush shirt. I did wear this shirt to the festival and I'm wearing it again because I paid for it and I bought it and I'm going to wear it as many times as I want. But basically it says Friends and the back says my Instagram name at Tata Buddha, because why not do some free promo? And the reason mine says Friends is because my best friend's, hers said Lovers, and it was really cute. I'll be inserting some pictures so you guys can get the full gist. But yeah, so I am wearing the same outfit. Cry about it, I don't care. Well, the same shirt. But yeah, so anyway, I also put on the same accessories to amplify the look. Necklace says 1996. The nails are giving 2000s. Sorry if they look a mess. My nail appointment is next Thursday because that's just how my nail appointments lined up. I wish they would have been fresh for the festival, but I mean, honestly, me and my best friend got a lot of compliments, so I think everything went really well in the first place. But yeah, I feel like we still looked cute even though my nails were a mess. I forgot quite a few of my accessories, which I am salty about. But yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's get into the points. I'm like trying to figure out where I should start. Should I start with pros, cons, mixed reviews? Like, I'm not sure. Let's start out with the cons. And then I'm going to finish with the positives, like the pros, because I feel like I should end every video on a positive note, and that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, like I said, I made a list. I have my list on my old phone just so I don't miss any points that I want to discuss and talk about. So let me pull that up really quick. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to start with the cons. Immediately when we got there, they were out of Gatorade. I am not really much of a sugar drinker. Like, I don't drink a lot of sugar in general. I don't do sodas. I don't do Gatorade. I don't do, you know, all of those sugary drinks. I usually don't drink, what is it called? Like energy drinks. I don't do that. I usually drink water or liquor, no in between. But anyway, so day 2, because I was not there on day 1. So sorry, I keep misspeaking. Day 2, before anything even started, they were out of Gatorade, which I felt like in this heat, in this weather, I feel like that should be the #1 thing you're worried about having in stock is something like that, like Gatorade, Powerade, any type of sugary juice really, but I feel like Gatorade and Powerade are obviously used in sports for a reason. So I think they would have been perfect to have at the festival, and I think they should have did better with the stock. Hold on, let me put my phone to where it won't turn off and lock as soon as I look away from it. So hold on. Sorry, you guys. I have never done a video like this before, so it's new to me. Okay, so another thing, and these are not in order, by the way. I made a list of everything that came to mind. Some things might have happened towards the end. Some things might have happened towards the beginning. We're just bear with me, please. So another thing I noticed is that because of the limited shade, there were people that were eating inside of the restroom. Not in the toilet stalls, but they were sitting on the ground of a public restroom eating. And I'm sorry, I don't care how hot I am, I cannot eat in a restroom. I've never eaten in a restroom before. I wasn't gonna start on Sunday. So that just goes to show you how many people there were compared to how little shade there was. So I don't fault them 100% because, you know, it's something out of their control. The guests, I mean, obviously the festival could have done a better job of organizing more areas with shade so that people wouldn't have to eat in the restroom. But they did. People were desperate enough to eat in the restroom. I was not, but I saw people that were. Another thing is so the festival started, it was meant to start at 11 a.m. and it was meant to go from about 12 a.m. So literally like 12-hour festival, right? So around 6 p.m., the bathrooms were out of paper towels and soap. That's a big problem and a big deal because you got a million people, you know, the other thing, the panoramic, can't say the other word, but you know what I'm saying, you know? So with that going on and just germs in general, like soap, like you should have some soap. Come on, please. So I ended up walking out of the restroom with my hands wet. It's not a pleasant feeling, but the thing is I rinsed them and I washed them. So the soap was very like limited. There were maybe like 20 soap dispensers in the restroom and I literally had to go to each one and hope for just a drop, you know? So not everybody was doing that, but me, I was desperate. I did have hand sanitizer, but there's nothing like scrubbing your hands with soap. Like hand sanitizer just doesn't compare. And again, that's just what I prefer. So that was a little off-putting. Didn't really like that. Also, another thing is that I would say about, not 6, I don't think it was that early. I would say about 8 p.m. or so, they ended up running out of water completely. So you had no cold water. Luckily, the sun is down by 8 p.m. So it wasn't as big of a deal at that time versus if they would have ran out earlier in the day, which they did not. They didn't run out until about 8 p.m. So I'll give them that. But again, you're dealing with people who are drinking, who are like heat exhausted. Like you should have unlimited water. I know that's like impossible in a way, but honestly, they should have just brought a whole truck. Like it should have just been trucks on trucks on trucks of stock of water. So that was one thing I also noticed. The only thing left towards the end around 8 o'clock was lemonade. And it was about, I think it was like $6.50 per cup, $6.50 a cup. Not horrible, but not great. You know, people have already been there all day. Like they've been spending money. They should have had more water on hand. But like I said, end of day, so not the worst. Another thing, this is funny. So another con that I gotta say and complain about is the heat. It was 99 degrees, which sounds crazy on your end, but Vegas is very weird. So it could be 99 degrees and feel like 80, or it could be 99 degrees and feel like 120. So on Sunday, it felt like 120. Like the heat was nuts. I know that, I'm not sure who organized the event. I don't know if they're locals or if they just decided Vegas would be the perfect place for an event like that. But all locals know that the weather, if it feels like 120 degrees, like you don't want to go nowhere. You want to sit in the house. And another thing is, why would they do it in May? I think the weather in April is perfect for an event like this. Like maybe beginning of April, mid-April at the latest. But May, sis, like you're asking for it at that point. You're asking for it. So yeah, it was really hot. I actually ended up passing out myself, and I did not drink a drop of liquor because when I felt like how hot it was outside, because we got there at the beginning of the day, so it was 11 a.m. we got there, it was already hot. Like I could feel it, and I'm like, I know my body really well, and I'm like, I can't drink. Like I'm not drinking nothing. And all of my friends and everyone who knows me will tell you, I always have a drink in my hand anytime I get. So for me to not want to drink, that's how hot and uncomfortable it was. And I was trying so hard to be responsible and to stay hydrated and whatever. So everyone else who drank, hats off to you, because You guys are nuts. But I still passed out and I didn't drink, which was my point. So that's how hot it was. My best friend, she didn't have any problems, but honestly, there was quite a few times where I was standing behind her because just like the way that everything is set up and she's way shorter than me. So I think I blocked the sun from her, and that's what made me pass out because we were watching T-Pain and like the sun was like beating on my back, and you could skip this if you guys don't care, but basically I felt the sun and we were watching and everything was fine. I was dancing, singing, whatever. And next thing I know, I heard my heartbeat really loud in my ear, and it was like doom, doom, like really slow, hard, like it was intense. So I was like, oh shoot, like I need to say something. So I tapped my best friend on the shoulder to get her to turn around, and I was like, hey, can you like go give me something to drink? Like I'm starting to see stars. And she walks away to go get me a drink, and it was just her and I at the festival. We weren't with anyone else. So she walks away to get me a drink, and girl, I was out. I was done. I also have this to show for it. It looks a little bit better because I've been taking care of it. But yeah, I was bleeding like really bad. My leg hurt really bad on Monday. But I mean, again, it was minor. Luckily, my side of my face also hurts really bad. But I don't know what I hit. I hit something because my glasses, I had to like pop them back into place. I'm not even sure if, oh, you can kind of see how they're like crooked now, but it might be hard to tell on camera basically. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I hit the left side of my face, so that was interesting. But yeah, so like I said, long story short, because I do too much explaining, it was very hot, and I think that they should pick a different month if they ever do this again. Another thing is that there was very, very slow service with drinks and with food. I had food one time while I was at the festival. It was like around, like shortly after I passed out. So maybe around 5 p.m. or so. And that was enough to hold me throughout the day. Like I ate breakfast, had a super coffee. Shout out to Super Coffee. Vegan, no added sugar, whatever. Not an ad. I just love them. But yeah, so I had breakfast, and then I didn't eat again until I literally had breakfast right before I left my house to go to the festival, and then I didn't eat again until 5. So I was like good to go. But the drink development and the food development behind the scenes, I could tell that food was microwaved. I had fries and chicken tenders microwaved, which whatever, you know, I don't care. Like it's a ton of people. I understand that they want stuff that comes out quick. Like they're not going to give you fresh food at stuff like that. I wasn't really expecting that, and it wasn't really an issue. My only problem is, how are you still coming out with food slowly when it's literally microwaved? Like, come on, you guys can do better than that. And then the drinks, like majority of the stuff was canned. They would either give it to you in the can, or they would pour it in a cup, or they'd give you a cup of ice. Like that takes 2 seconds. So why are the line queues this long? Like miles long. Not miles, sorry, I'm being over exaggerative, but they were really long for what they were doing. Like they were not back there cutting up chicken cutlets and frying stuff, and you know, they weren't doing all that. So I don't understand what the delay was about. But yeah, so that really annoyed me a little bit. Obviously another complaint I have is how many people there were. I knew it was, again, it's a festival. Like I knew what to expect in a certain manner, but I've never been to a festival like that. The only reason I wanted to go to this festival is because of all the 2000s artists, you know, like that's something that I grew up with, obviously, and it was really nice. But I don't know, so many people, both days were sold out to my knowledge, so that really sucked. Just like them having all those people in there, and I'm not good around people, but luckily, like once I was there for like about an hour or so, I started to feel more comfortable and just like accept the environment, because ultimately I did want to be there. So sometimes you just gotta sacrifice, and I am willing to sacrifice my solitude for an event like that. So it's kind of a mixed review. Like I knew that it was gonna be hella people, but I was willing to accept it and sacrifice it. But I just wanted to make sure I mention that. So another thing is, another thing is standing. So you're standing the whole time you're there. They don't have chairs, they don't have benches, they don't have nothing. It's all ground, like all asphalt, some little patches of turf, but mostly asphalt. And eventually, no matter what type of shoes you're wearing, your feet are going to get tired, your body's going to get tired. Like, you're there all day dancing, singing, using all your energy. It's hot. Like, I think that they could do a lot better job next time and have some sort of seating, maybe like a seating area. I don't know. There's got to be something that they can do, or even like just passing out blankets or towels or something for you to sit on here and there would also suffice. So I feel like they could have handled that a lot better. But again, it's a festival. I'm not familiar with festivals. Maybe that's always a thing, but I just think in this heat and in this climate, they should, you know, they should do better. So that was another thing I had a problem with. Another thing is the sound issues. Like, sometimes it'd be really loud, sometimes it'd be perfect volume, other times you can't hear nothing. There was actually a few times where they cut out Sean Paul because he was talking too much, or that's what it seemed like. And then there were other times where the mic would squeal. Like, it was just a lot for it to be so hot and for you to be out in the, like, literally out in the middle of the day and out there all day long. Little things like that are bound to annoy you. At least for me, they did. So I think they could work on equalizing the sound a little bit better. But I mean, again, for the most part, you could hear the artists. Like, the playback wasn't too loud majority of the time. It might have been little bouts here and there, but I feel like they had like a year to plan for this. So I want to say, from my perspective, they should have all those little kinks worked out for the most part. So if they ever do that again, hopefully they figure out the sound problems. Another thing that has to do with sound is the overlapping music. So the festival grounds was pretty laid out, it seemed, like, just based on how much we had to walk and from stage to stage. So there were 4 stages, the bling stage, crown stage, I think, and then the lovers stage, friends stage. So 4 stages. The thing about it was, okay, so the lovers and the friends stage were right next to each other, like all the way at the end of the area. I don't know what to call it. And then the crown stage, okay, so let's say those are over here. Crown stage was here, and then the bling stage was like here. So at times, depending where you're sitting or where you're standing, I feel like if you were at the stage yourself, for the most part, you were not hearing overlapping music. But like, let's say you went to go get something to eat and you were sitting on the turf, or you were in the restroom, like, you'd hear multiple artists at once, which I think they could have handled that better as well. But it goes back to the sound issues. I think it wasn't well balanced, and I think it wasn't well rehearsed. Like, I don't think they really did their due diligence in testing things to see how it would sound from different areas of the festival grounds. But again, not something super big of a deal. It's just something I wanted to mention. So I will put a layout, because I did have a map layout, and I'm pretty sure they were handing them out to everyone, but I do have a map layout that I'll put so you guys get a better idea and understanding of what I mean. So another thing, I keep saying another thing, another one. It's like DJ Khaled who, because at this point I am DJ Khaled. But sorry, I'm gonna try to stop saying that. So there was a long line. We got there at about 11, which is when the festival would have began. I feel like we got there, like, originally, I felt like we got there at a great time. I felt like we were making great time. And then, you know, we had a whole plan. So we parked at Sunrise Hospital, took an Uber from Sunrise Hospital to Bonanza Gift Shop, which is about a 8 to 10 minute Uber ride. And there were like barely any cars on the road. So we're like, oh, cool. Like, this is great. You know, people must still be getting dressed, be getting around. There's not really any traffic or anything like that. And then we walked from Bonanza Gift Shop to the entrance of the festival grounds. Well, we get to the entrance of the festival grounds, and it's only for cabana entrance only, which we did not have. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's just follow the crowd. Let's keep following the crowd. I would say we walked about, I would say at least a mile. That's how long the line was. It was literally all the way around the corner, like loop-de-looped through some sort of parking garage that I can't think of at the moment. And then, like, towards Circus. So there's like an entrance of Circus, and I'll try to, again, draw a diagram so that you guys can see what I mean. But it felt never ending, it felt endless, and yeah, so that really sucked. And then they were just kind of, even though the festival started at 11, they just kind of had people standing around like waiting. They weren't letting anyone in. It was just a standstill line. And then finally, eventually, I would say after about 45 minutes or so, they started letting people in. And then also they ended up cutting the line in the middle, and me and my best friend just so happened to be where they cut the line. So we got to cut a lot of people. But other than that, like, that really was annoying, and I think they could have handled that better as well. Again, also because I said they started at 11 and we didn't get in till noon, so that was interesting because the first performance was at noon as well. So I'm like, why wouldn't you want people already inside? Like, why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? They didn't really give us time to like get drinks and refreshments before the festivities started, so that was another thing I feel like they should improve. And there I go again with the another thing. Also, they were not checking or scanning tickets for certain people. I don't really know how they determined whose they wanted to scan and whose they didn't. Mine, they did scan, I think because it was ready. But it seemed like if you were like shuffling through your stuff, trying to find your phone or trying to find your QR code or whatever the case may be, they would just like wave you through, which I don't really feel like that's fair. My ticket was about $270 something. With tax and everything, so for you to be charging me $270, I don't think it's fair for you to just be letting people in, like literally not scanning tickets. And if that were me, if they let me in without scanning my ticket, I would have resold it. So yeah, I think that if you're gonna charge for an event or for a venue or whatever, then you should be scanning everyone's tickets and make sure that they're actually meant to be there. Okay, so I have two more things. What time are we at? Oh, 25 minutes, girl. Okay, we're not doing that bad. Okay, so two more things. The penultimate thing that bothered me is that most of the artists that I wanted to see the most, like my fan favorites, and I guess maybe more mainstream, I don't know, because I don't care about mainstream, but there were artists I wanted to see 100%, and as well as my best friend. We had certain artists in mind that we wanted to see. But the problem with that is, like I said, the stages, even though you could hear multiple, depending on the sound system, obviously you want to be like as close as you can to hear your certain artists perform. And a lot of the artists that I wanted to see had interlapping times, and I couldn't really run over and like spend 20 minutes here, spend 20 minutes there, because you know, like I said, the festival, even though it sounds close, it's really not. So like I could be at the Lovers stage, and then someone I wanted to see as well would be at the Bling stage, which is all the way on the opposite side. So that really sucked, not being able to see both and having to make a decision like who I wanted to see more. Like I feel like for the most part, they know who the fan favorites are. They know who people are there to see. So why wouldn't you put them at separate times so that, you know, so everybody gets a chance to see the artist they want to see. That really kind of irked me a little bit. But overall, I would say besides like one or two artists, I saw majority of the people I wanted to see. So I am grateful I was able to go, and I really did have a good time. But that's just something that they could take into consideration for next time. Maybe like a little poll or something, like, who are you excited to see? Who do you want to see at this time? Who do you want to see at that time? You know, like, and just go off of that. Go off majority instead of just making your own set times and determining it that way. And then last but not least, there was no clear instruction on how long certain artists were performing. So for example, Neo performed maybe like 20 minutes and Usher performed maybe like an hour, and like it was no set time. So even if I did want to go from T-Pain to The Dream, I didn't know when T-Pain would be ending. I didn't know, I mean, actually, okay, wait. So I didn't know when one artist would be ending. So I couldn't be like, oh, okay, like they're gonna end in 10 minutes. Let me run over to The Dream really quick so I can catch the last of his show. Like there was no set time. You don't really know when or how long someone is performing for. It's just kind of up in the air. And that also didn't seem like it was really well organized, because like I said, they cut off Sean Paul's mic like in the middle of one of his songs. So it's like you're not really giving anyone the opportunity to like organize how they want to organize. I'm not really an organized person in real life, but just in general, like thinking about it, it would have been nice to know, like, okay, so T-Pain's going to be on from 3:30 to 4, and then Akon's going to be on from 4 to 5, and then, you know, you can determine if you want to see them for that long or if you want to go hit another stage while they're finishing up their show, you know? So that really sucked, but those are the cons. I don't feel like that was that many things. Like, for a 13-hour event, that doesn't seem that bad. It's just like little things here and there that, again, I feel like they can improve on, but it was their first year, so I can see why there would be little mistakes here and there. You know, like, everything's not going to be perfect, and I don't expect that at all, but it's just stuff that they could take into consideration maybe and improve on the following time that they do this. But yeah, okay, so before we go to the perks, we're going to go to the mixed stuff that I noticed that's not necessarily a complaint, but not necessarily a perk. So, many rules changed after the day one festival. So the first day, like I said, was May 14th. Second day, May 15th. I went the second day. I assumed that all of the rules would still apply for the second day because they didn't make no announcements. They didn't say like, hey, these are allowed now, whatever. So people were just like showing up, just hoping for the best. Like, that means with water, with umbrellas, with blankets, with towels, everything. Like, people were just taking a risk, which I am the kind of person who hates having my stuff thrown away. And that's what they were threatening at first, that if you brought something that wasn't approved, you could either go take it to your car, but obviously most people are Ubering, so that didn't make sense, or you can throw it away before you go in the festival. I hate things getting thrown away. It could be something as small as like gum or Carmex or, you know, some sort of like water bottle. Like, I don't like my things being thrown out, so that really bothered me, and it made me play it safe, and I really didn't need to. But like I said, they didn't make no announcement saying that stuff would be changing. So the things I noticed the most that changed, originally they wanted clear bags, see-through bags. Let me see, like this. Let me make sure that my cards are showing. Like this, so where you could see all the contents in it. And then another thing is they wanted you, obviously you need sunscreen in 100-degree weather, and you're going to be outside all day. I'm pale, so I need sunscreen. Originally, they were saying no aerosol of any type, no mace, no sunscreen, whatever else is aerosol. They were not allowing it on day one. Day two, they did allow it, which is kind of stupid because I brought the lotion, and I actually prefer the lotion in regular life. But if I'm going somewhere all day long where it's going to be 100 degrees outside, obviously the lotion is it's gonna leak, it's gonna melt, it's gonna be more of a watery consistency, which would ultimately make more of a mess. So I would have liked to know that I could bring the aerosol, and it's just easier to apply as well. So that kind of irked me a little bit, but I mean, what can I do? At least I had something. So I am glad that I brought some with me, even though it wasn't the type I wanted to bring. But yeah, they were allowing aerosol the second day, and they were also allowing non-clear bags. Originally, clear bags, period. That means no holographic, no black bag, no whatever, no water packs. So those little hydration backpacks, those were not allowed at first, but the second day they were. So that was interesting. But yeah, that was annoying. Re-entry was allowed. I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't know if I mind it, if I feel like it's more dangerous. It's just a comment, something I noticed. Re-entry was allowed. The cost, like I said, I paid $270 for general admission. That is including tax. As considering how many artists there were, I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was good considering everything else that was going on and going wrong. Alcohol was available for purchase. It was mainly beer and seltzers. I didn't really see a lot of hard liquor unless it was like mixed in a drink, but we all know that they don't put enough liquor to make up for the sugar in those drinks. So I feel like maybe 1 or 2 shots, probably not even 2. I would say 1 and a quarter. So probably about 1 1/4 shot in about a 16-ounce glass. So not really big of a deal any other time. But considering the heat and the weather and just the UV index that day. Like, I don't know if serving alcohol was the best idea. I know a lot of people probably pre-gamed before this. Luckily, I did not, or I would have been effed. So I don't know if alcohol is an appropriate thing to offer when there's no shade, when they're running out of water, when the water that they're offering for free is, when the line is out the freaking door, whatever imaginary door, the line is ridiculous. Two, the water, I heard, I didn't drink any of the free water at the water stations, but I heard that it was hot or warm, which I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I don't know if it still has good effects on you if you're drinking hot water while you're dehydrated. I'm not sure if that does anything, if it hurts, if it helps, but it doesn't sound logical to me. So that was really weird and dumb that they mainly, the thing they never sold out of was beer and seltzers, when the main thing they should have been concerned with is the water. Yeah, so I think I basically touched on those things as well. Let me make sure. Yep, I basically covered the stuff that I was like mixed on. Kind of like pros, cons, both, whatever. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I did a pretty good job explaining. So where are we at? We're at 34 minutes. So we're finishing up. I'm at the pros now. We can get to the good parts. Yeah. So, okay, obviously the first number one thing is all of the artists and the music from back in the day. All of those artists, love them. I am obsessed. I feel like they all did a really great job, especially Lil' Kim, Sierra. Oh my God, their performances were great. I really, 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 really enjoyed them. The people that I feel like I missed were Cassie and The Dream. The Dream especially, I love him. I really wish I would have been able to see him live. I actually was sitting on the turf under the shade with my best friend when he went on, and I could hear him. He sounded great, sounded amazing. I'm sure he did a great job, but I really wish I would have been able to see him. Another person I didn't get to see was Lauryn Hill. But we all know she's always late to her shows. And by that point, we were like really tired. And I had to work on Monday, so we didn't stay. She's always late. So I was like concerned that I convinced my best friend to stay. And then she's late. And then we don't get home till like 3 a.m. So I did agree not to see her because I was also ready to go. Like, I'm not even going to lie. So we didn't end up staying till midnight. We left around 10-ish, I want to say. I think like 10:30. So yeah, but The Dream, really upset that I missed him, really sad, but I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully these artists will like see how much of an impact they still have and how much impact their music still has, and they'll do this again. So yeah, so that was really nice. I really love that. I loved the idea of all of these artists being in one place at once, but does go back to say that I wish that they would have organized it better. But overall, so happy that majority of them decided to show up. It was really nice. It was like a time machine, but like in reality, you know? So another thing I really loved is the 2000s fashion being brought back. I used to get my nails, how you guys saw them in the beginning. I used to get my nails like this all the time when I was a teenager. I used to wear the little bamboo hoops or just the little hoops in general, the little knocker balls or whatever you guys call them. I've heard so many different names for them. I don't know what to call them anymore. The jewelry, like, I don't know, everything was just, everyone looked so cute. They looked so good. Majority of the people were on theme. A lot of other people were like, I saw like some juicy tracksuits and I'm like, girl, it's 100 degrees. Like, I know you had something else in your closet, okay? But I mean, whatever, do you? So it was really cool seeing all that fashion being brought back, and it just kind of like placed me back into that time period. And yeah, it was just like, it was nice. It was nice to see. The vibes were very great. Everybody was dancing, singing along, having a good time. There was like maybe 1 or 2 rude people I came across, but 1 or 2 rude people out of like, I would say 1,000 at least. Like, there were so many people. So for like 1 or 2, you know, to have a little attitude, to be funky, is really not that big of a deal. So that's why this is in my pros and not my cons, because majority of the people were super nice, super sweet. We got tons of compliments on our outfits. Everyone looked super cute, and it was, yeah, it was a vibe. So yeah. And again, I have more things about the rules that changed. So I do have positive rules that changed when we got there. So they did end up allowing umbrellas, blankets, outside drinks, like waters. At first, you could not bring no outside drinks on Saturday. So on Sunday, they changed that. You were allowed to bring outside drinks, handheld fans, the little hydration packs, the misters, and what else? The umbrellas. I don't know if I already mentioned that. And then Liquid Death ended up sponsoring the event. So I think it was, sorry, my cat is over here. It was her birthday, by the way. Let me get her. It was her birthday. She's so grumpy. But yeah, yesterday was her birthday, so wish her a happy birthday in the comments. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so as I was saying, Liquid Death did end up sponsoring the event on Sunday. So I'm not sure if this is true or not. I want to say that if you wanted a free water, that you had to buy something additional. The Red Bulls were $5, so that's what me and my best friend ended up drinking, is just Red Bull. And then the water would be free with purchase. I didn't get the chance to ask them if you could get the water without purchase, so I'm not sure. But either way, let's just say for a drink, minimum was $5. So basically you get 2 drinks for $5, which really isn't bad. I do, like I said, I wish they had more options, because on day 2, the only non-alcoholic thing was water, lemonade, or Red Bull. And majority of the lemonade was separate from the Red Bull stands. So like you had to pick and choose. But the Red Bull was where the water was. So obviously we kept ending up in the Red Bull line. But I did appreciate that Liquid Death did end up sponsoring it, and that the water was free. And it was cold. And they gave you ice. So that was nice. They did have metal detectors, like at the entrance, so you couldn't even get in or out. Well, actually, I think they got rid of them, obviously, when people started to leave and stopped coming in. I'm sure they stopped letting people in at a certain point, because no, the metal detectors were up when we left. So yeah, they kept the metal detectors up the whole time, and it was not just 1 or 2. It was a good, I would say a good 10 to 20 metal detectors. So that was really nice, and I thought that was really well thought out, especially because, you know, there's been, you know what's, here in Vegas in the past. So it was nice, and it felt like a little more secure knowing that people had to go through a metal detector to be able to come in the first place. The turf space, the covered space. So there was turf. You can actually see it on my Instagram. I posted a picture of me like sitting like this on some grass, some turf. And then there were like little covered areas, but as many people as there was not anywhere near enough turf or space for as many people as there were there. So that's why I was like kind of a con and a pro. That's why I mentioned it twice, because even though they offered it, people were still having or feeling like they had to sit in the restroom just for some shade. So I don't feel like that's fair. I think they can organize that a little bit better. But I will give them props for considering it in the first place. So yes, they had the space, but not as much as they needed. Let's see. Okay, so they also had lockers that were on offer. $25. Pretty sure it was for the whole day, but I'm not 100% sure because we did not do one. It just doesn't make sense for them to allow it for only a couple hours and then you lose it. So I'm pretty sure it was $25 all day. And then if you got a locker, they would actually give you a little charging bank for your phone so that you could charge your phone. So I thought that was really nice. Battery packs did end up being allowed, but they did not mention that, you know, after the fact. Surprisingly, me and my best friend's phone stayed charged the whole time, but we weren't really on them. For the people that, sorry, there's a fly in here. For the people that were on their phones like all day, 24/7, I'm sure their phones probably died, but we were good to go. Like, I think I had 35% when we left, and she probably had about 46 or something. So we ended up having battery the whole time, which is good because we had to call an Uber after the fact. There was no signal, by the way. That was something I forgot to mention. So there was no signal the whole time, which it's fine in hindsight. Like, you don't really need to talk to anyone or call anyone while you're there. But like, what if an emergency happened? How are my people going to get a hold of me if something is wrong? Like when I passed out, for example, I text my friend and I was like, hey, I'm sitting down over here, blah, blah, blah. Don't like freak out. I'm just right here, just sitting down. And she didn't get the message till like hours later. So, you know, what if something more severe were to happen? There would be no way for anyone to know what was going on because we had no signal. So that is a con. I'm sorry that I forgot to mention it till now. But yeah, so the lockers with the charging stations is considerate. $25 for an all-day thing, you know, that's not horrible. It could be free, but nothing in this life is free. So for what it was decent. It was a decent idea. There was a medic on site. I did not meet up with the medic. When I passed out, I kind of just sat there for a little bit, waited for my best friend to come back. Maybe like 20 minutes had passed, and by the time she came back, I felt better. She had a drink in her hand with ice and stuff. So, oh, and then, I'm sorry, shout out to the people that helped me, by the way. If you're watching this, I doubt it, but I just want to say shout out to them. They like jumped into action. They gave me a water with like a little hydration pack that you can like flavor your water with. My knee was messed up. They gave me like some water to pour on it so that it wasn't bleeding all over my outfit. They were super nice. It was like, I don't know, I can't even remember honestly. It was like 2 girls and a guy. So if you guys ever see this, thank you so much. Very nice of you, very sweet. And they basically like kept an eye on me the whole time until my best friend came back. So that was really, really nice. What else? There were many entry lines. So there were not just like, it wasn't just one long big line to go through the metal detector. Like I said, they had about 10 to 20. So each of those metal detectors were their own line. It seemed like they had tons of security. Seemed like they had, you know, Metro on standby. Like I felt like it was pretty safe considering the volume of people that were there. So that was really nice. They did have AC buses. So there were like 5 or 6 buses that you could go inside of and sit and chill in the AC, but obviously limited space. So I did notice that there were lines outside of them. Not sure how good of an idea that is if it's only 6 buses for thousands of people. I wonder if they did like a head count, because I would really love to know how many people were there. Like I said, I didn't go in there, so I'm not sure how well they, like maybe after 10 minutes they'd kick you out and let someone else in, or if you could just sit in there the whole time and soak up the AC. I'm not sure. But yeah, like I said, I felt like that was a good idea to keep, you know, to have something like that on the property, even if it wasn't adequate for the amount of people that were there. Let's see, there's 2 more things. So the restrooms, I felt like they were doing a decent job keeping them clean. Towards the end, of course, you ladies are nasty. There was like pee on the toilet, pee on the floor. But let me not go in those. I just went into the clean ones. But for the most part, they did a really good job keeping everything clean. And yeah, so that was really nice. And then last but not least, once again, the final thing for the video, it was cashless. Anyone who knows me knows how much I hate bringing around cash. Carrying around cash, bringing it around, holding it, hate it. The reason is because I lose my money if I have cash. Another thing about cash is there's no record of it. So if I get scammed, then my bank cannot refund me because there's no record of it. Another thing about cash is that they give you change, they give you coins, then your purse is heavy from the coins. Like, I hate cash, okay? So it was really nice just being able to use my card, no additional charge, nothing like that. Just scan it, swipe it, chip it, good to go. So I really did appreciate that they did cashless. I believe some vendors were still accepting cash, but me personally, as much as I hate technology, that is something that I appreciate technology for, is the cards. So yeah, but anyways, guys, that is the end of the pros and cons. Where are we at? 47 minutes. It's not bad. I kept it under an hour. This video is going to take a minute to edit, I want to say. Hopefully not long, because I'm just talking basically. This was kind of like chill and low key and, you know, easy. But yeah, let me know if there's anything else that you guys have questions on down in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer all the questions that you have. And yeah, like I said, I really did have a good time. If I had to rate it out of 10, I would do an 8. I think 8 out of 10 is fair. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for sticking this YouTube thing out with me. Let me know if you have any additional video ideas in the comments down below, because I'm always open to hearing them. If you want to follow up with me more, or if you want to see more pictures from the festival, you can always follow my Instagram at TataBuddha, and I will place that here. And yeah, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below any video suggestions, any clothing suggestions, basically anything. Tell me I look pretty, anything. Just give me a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get notified every time I upload. And I wanted to say thank you again for the support, the patience, the love, and I will see you guys in the next one. Love and lights.